And Dan Wetzel, columnist for Yahoo Sports, joined us on the program. Dan, good morning. How are you?
I'm well, guys. How are you?
We're good. What did the Missouri football players do? How would you sum that up?
Well, they brought a ton of attention and to an ongoing protest on their campus, and when they brought the attention, I think it just overwhelmed the president of the school, and they was just not equipped to handle that kind of a firestorm and that kind of debate, and he quit. But they basically used I wouldn't even say their bully pulpit, but their ability to create a bully pulpit, because they didn't really say anything. They just sent out one tweet. And I think that's an important part of this, is that they were able to affect change by not being a high-profile team, not being a winning team, not having a star player, not having any of the players speak, not having any of them have to do the hard stuff on these, which is articulating the points and the demands and all the things that you would have had to have done 20 years ago. They sent out one tweet, and 36 hours later, the whole thing was done.
Yeah, social media plays such an important role now. The sports fallout from this, though, is what, in your mind?
Well, I think we don't know, but I think it would be naive to say, hey, this is just an isolated incident that happened at Missouri. I think what you saw was the incredible power that these players have. Colleges and universities have overemphasized athletics for decades. Everybody knows this. We have this bizarre system in America where we have institutions of higher education and then massive $100 million plus sports franchises attached to it. It makes no sense, but that's where we're at. And they are used to bring in money, attention, marketing opportunity, student outreach, alumni relations, everything. The schools have gotten to the point where they own their own cable television networks, not just their partners. There's so much money and importance wrapped up in these games. And what you saw here for the first time was the players deciding to cross the line and threaten to protest or sit out and basically exert the power that they have, because this whole thing is built on the idea that the kids will always play. And in this case, they said they wouldn't, and it caused this big of a firestorm. And so I think it was a huge symbolic moment where you said, here are these players have immense power over the leadership, including their own coaches and administrators, that all basically have to fall in line to whatever they say, or at least did at Missouri. That's, I think, the big takeaway going forward. Does this happen again? Does another school use it on a campus issue? Do a number of schools use it on a national issue? Do they start arguing for better rights or treatment from the NCAA? Is it a frivolous thing? Is it a good idea? Is it an inspired movement? Is it a terrible movement? Nobody knows, but the power and the potential of a movement is really, really clear when the Missouri football team got all this done so quickly.
I think there's this big leap now that all of a sudden, if these athletes realize the power that they have, that this is a blueprint for, well, the eventual inevitable step is they're going to get paid. They're going to go out on strike and really get paid here. Is that too big of a leap of faith for you?
I think I think anything's possible, but I think that's a leap. I think that this is a separate. I was talking to people yesterday about it. This was emotionally charged. It's a very political issue. It's a hot button issue. And so it's not the same as, hey, I want to get some money, where it's just not as emotional. And so that's a different argument. Now you're looking and going, oh, these players are greedy and It's not quite, we're fighting racism. So I think there's a big jump there, but you don't know. What's clear is these kids can really quickly shut down the system. And there's so much money at stake in the system that if they get organized and not just sit there and say, hey, we want to get paid, but maybe they take the incremental steps and say we want better health insurance, or we want better care for catastrophic injury, things that are, a lot more appeasing and a lot more easy to defend. That's certainly possible. But again, we always thought this needed to be done like Alabama and Ohio State refusing to take the field for the national title game.
Yeah.
This was just the Missouri football team refusing to practice for one day. And it was such with all due respect to the guys playing football, it's an anonymous football team. No one's talking about Missouri football. The fact that they were able to do this, what if there is? It just shows that any five teams could get together and upset the whole system.
Dan, thanks for joining us. We appreciate it.
Appreciate it, Dan. Take care.
All right, Dan Wetzel, Yahoo Sports columnist.